Hello everybody, I'm gonna be honest, I have never read a single FNAF book. I do love FNAF and I have a few of the books. I tried reading Silver Eyes when I was a kid, but I never really got that far in it. So I was thinking what a relatively quick and easy video would be to make, since I've been making one huge video every few weeks and it's kind of difficult. So I thought, hey, why not just review one of the FNAF short stories? So that is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to be talking about Into the Pit. And that's it. That's the video. And who knows? Maybe I'll make this into a series, talking about some of the other stories. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. And before we get started, make sure if you do find yourself enjoying the video, leave a like and subscribe. And here's a graph and whatever else. Let's get straight into the pit. Before we get started, though, I do know Into the Pit has a game. I'm not talking about it here. I'm just going to talk about how the story manages to be on its own as a standalone piece of media. So, we start off with Oswald and his dad driving in his dad's car, talking about how Oswald's best friend Ben moved away, and now he has nothing to do during the summer break, since the town is run down and most of the places are closed. Also, his dad is short on money after losing his job at the steel mill, but he still has enough to give Oswald some money for food and pizza at Jeff's Pizza. While he and Oswald's mum are at work. Oswald goes into Jeff's, eats some pizza, and Jeff even gives him some on the house. Oswald's dad meets him outside Jeff's after work. Later on in the evening, Oswald and his dad are watching this weird endoskeleton versus Godzilla or something. I can't wait to see that movie in cinemas 2046 after Scott really runs out of ideas. After this, Oswald goes to sleep, and the next day his mum makes him what I think is bacon and pancakes for breakfast. This confuses me as a British gremlin. The idea of bacon and pancakes, or bacon and ice cream, or whatever, sounds quite revolting. But anyway, we see some panels on how Oswald's summer sucks, because he hasn't got much money, and he can't buy video games and books and things like that. And then he texts Ben, who is at his beach vacation, with a bunch of stuff to do, while Oswald has just been rotting in the library and Jeff's Pizza the whole time. And Ben says that Jeff's Pizza really creeps him out. The next day, Oswald and his dad are back in the car, and his dad asks him what's wrong. Him and Oswald argue about how much his summer sucks and how Ben's having so much more fun, and his dad makes even more money than he ever did at the steel mill, but Oswald's family just can't move out of town because his grandma lives there and she needs help from time to time. Oswald storms out the car and says he hates his dad and slams the car door and things. Typical child behavior. When I was a kid, I think I tried to drown my dad. Anyway, Oswald is back in Jeff's Pizza once again, and it's almost time to get picked up, but this time, he says he wants his dad to find him. He doesn't want to make it easy for his dad. Wow, I kind of hate Oswald a little bit. What a little evil child. Anyway, to hide, he jumps into the pit. Title, whoa. He digs down in the ball pit and gives this devious little smile. God, I kind of hate him. Eventually, he climbs out of the ball pit and finds himself in a new place and instantly makes a Wizard of Oz reference. And yes, I had to look it up because I have not seen the movies. Anyway, Oswald has traveled into the past. Before Jeff's Pizza was Jeff's, instead being Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Wow! Complete with all the robot-y goodness a child could hope for. And for some reason, they sometimes have cheeks, but sometimes don't. Mostly evident on page 23, but Also, the animatronics look like the robots that Oswald's been drawing lately, which I would have told you before if I thought it was important to tell you. Whoops. He meets some of the other kids, and they make friends and play some arcade games. And after a while, Oswald has to go back to the future. Ooh, movie. Anyway, he goes back to the future, and this rabbit, who I'm sure will not be important later, looks at him as he leaves. And then Oswald gets picked up by his... That's not his dad. Page 26. Don't know who that person is. Anyway, he goes home, and the next day, it's back to Jeff's Pizza again. His dad drops him off, and he calls him Oz for short. Another Wizard of Oz thing, perhaps? There's some symbolism here, I suppose. He's in a new place and stuff. Again, I have not seen the Wizard of Oz. I am sorry. Oswald goes back to Ball Pit Land and hangs out with his new past friends. One of them also calls him Oz, quote, like the Wizard of Oz. Alright, man, I get it. Wizard of Oz. Jesus. Noted. I've written it down. Let's move on. The new friends talk, and the weird rabbit character from before just stares intently at Oswald, which creeps him out a little bit, but whatever, again, I'm sure he isn't important to the story at all. Oswald wore his pants full of tokens or something, and they go and play more arcade games as the rabbit just stalks. The next day, Oswald asks his dad what Jeff's Pizza used to be before it was Jeff's. His dad tells him it used to be an arcade, but it closed, and his dad seems unnerved about talking about it. Oswald returns to the pit, but this time, instead of finding his friends and people having fun and playing games, he is met with people screaming and panicking and shouting out the names of their children and shouting for help. That certainly took a turn, okay. Oswald thinks he is safe though, since he's in the past and hasn't been born yet, so nothing bad can happen to him. The rabbit meets Oswald and wants him to follow him into the private room. The rabbit also changes size for some reason on page 34. I think the panels were drawn by multiple different people because the rabbit sometimes just looks insanely different from panel to panel, but I will continue to ignore it. Oswald follows the rabbit and says, quote, "This is the worst version of Alice in Wonderland I've ever seen. Oh my god! Okay, I get it! Alice in Wonderland! I get it! Shut up! It is duly noted!" Duly noted and ignored. The rabbit, who I'm going to refer to as Pit Bonnie from now on, pushes open the back door for Oswald, showing him the bodies of 6 children, slumped over in chairs. Oswald, quite rightly, screams and runs away, with Pit Bonnie giving chase close behind. He manages to jump back through the ball pit before Bonnie can catch him, and in the real world, his dad is looking for him and pulls him out of the pit. Oswald is confused as time has moved this time. I didn't mention this before, but time doesn't normally move in the real world when you're in the pit. I didn't mention that. Whoops. Again. His dad is angrily telling him how dirty the ball pit is, and Pit Bonnie won't take anyone slandering his bright, beautiful blue balls. So, he yoinks Oswald's dad into the pit, and only Bonnie comes out, grabbing Oswald by the arm and leading him out of the pizzeria as Jeff waves them goodbye. Nice going, Jeff. Pit Bonnie drives Oswald back home in his dad's car. Also, side note, I love how Pit Bonnie wears a seatbelt. He may be a monster, but he's not a moron. They get home and Oswald goes to his room as Bonnie just stares. Oswald texts his mum there is an emergency and she needs to come home as soon as possible. Don't know why Oswald doesn't call the police, but whatever. Later on, his mum does get home and doesn't see anything wrong, and says dad is in the bedroom watching TV after having made him a chicken pot pie. Why did the rabbit do this? Why can the rabbit do this? I wonder if he just like magics it out of thin air, or like he puts on a whole apron and oven mitts and like bakes an entire chicken pot pie from scratch just for the laughs. Like, he is committed to the bit. Oswald's mum insists nothing's wrong with dad, so Oswald is just like, oh, alright, good night. Some reason. Don't tell dad this Bonnie guy slept in the same bed as his wife. That's probably not going to go over too good. The next morning, Oswald wakes up and assumes it was all a dream, before he goes downstairs for breakfast and Pit Bonnie is sat at the table just like, oh, how did you go mum last night? Still, Oswald's mum sees nothing wrong, and after Oswald asks where dad is, she points out Pit Bonnie as being dad. So basically everyone except from Oswald sees Bonnie as his father. I don't know why mom hasn't questioned why dad's been silently sat at the dinner table for 3 hours without blinking, but whatever. It's officially the end of summer, and Bonnie, dad, drives Oswald to school, and some girl there is like, hey, I'm reading Greek mythology, and they're brave. Just be brave, dude, bye. So after that, Oswald says, okay, brave boy time, and gives some milk to the cat, which you actually shouldn't do unless it's a kitten or whatever. Later on that night, Oswald sneaks past Robo-Dad to escape the house, and ooh, single bed. That's not good. Yeah, Bonnie, I'd be looking at the ceiling like that too if me and my wife slept in different beds, presumably in different rooms. Oswald sneaks out to Jeff's Pizza. I assume Jeff just lives there since it's open 24/7, and he's the only guy ever working here. Oswald goes back to the ball pit and finds his dad inside, pulling him out, trying to make sure he's still alive, before Pit Bonnie comes out of nowhere and grabs Oswald. They start fighting, and oh my god, I'm assuming Pit Bonnie is still mostly robot, so right. That's a broken elbow and some brain trauma at least. You can't just headbutt him, he's made of, like, metal. Pit Bonnie also grows rows of sharp teeth and bites him on the arm. They fight some more, and Oswald somehow manages to push Bonnie into a net, which wraps around his neck and just hangs him, I suppose? Damn. Shouldn't have fell into the evil death net, I suppose. After this, Oswald's dad wakes up confused and they make up, ignoring the giant dead Bonnie behind them, and they go home and live happily ever after, I suppose, and that's it. That's the end of the story. In conclusion, wow, definitely an interesting story. I think it's pretty good. It would have been a little bit better if the art was more consistent, especially on Pit Bonnie, because sometimes he looks awesome, and sometimes he just looks clunky and weird. Also, I think it would have been cool for Bonnie to maybe pretend to be Oswald's dad a bit more, you know? Like, he could have spoken a distorted, mimicking voice of his dad to fool his mom and Jeff and whoever. It would make more sense than just like, oh, I'm Oswald's mom and my husband just doesn't talk anymore and stares at Oswald forever. Maybe a scene where Oswald has to spend time with his family, like how they used to watch movies at the start of the thing. Oswald maybe could have to pretend everything's fine watching a movie or something with his mum and Pit Bonnie. But all in all, it's a pretty neat short story. Nothing groundbreaking. But, you know, I'm a FNAF fan. My expectations are already through the floor nowadays, so anything even slightly good is like a gift from heaven. Anyway, that's it from me. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. You finished it, so you might as well at this point. Let me know if you want to talk about the other FNAF books or something else in general. Leave it in the comments. It's what they're there for. I also have a second channel and a Twitch where I stream basically daily, so check me out there if you so wish. And that has been me. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again in another video in the future. Bye-bye!